Well, welcome everybody. For those of you who do not know me, I am Natalie Bradford, and I want to thank you all for coming today to help me with my presentation. Today's presentation is about rethinking exercise. Trying to do a little bit something different to get more exercise in your daily life. Before we begin, I just want you to remember a motto. If you go ahead and turn your sheets, for those of you who have one, I want you to remember this motto. Doing something is always better than doing nothing. So that's what I want you all to leave here with today. So, go ahead and turn to the next slide. Now, what you all don't see is how many of you all have ever gone to the grocery store and got home and you had like 100 bags, right?
Right.
Okay, and so how many times have you tried to put as many bags on your arms as possible?
Every time.
Right.
Yep.
Maybe even put something around your neck too, right? Just so you can carry it all in. And then all of a sudden you get there and you kind of feel like you should win a medal. Like, did anyone else see me carry all these groceries in, and struggling? And in one way it's great because you are multitasking, but in another way it's bad because you actually would have gotten more exercise had you carried in less bags. Because every time you go out to the car and get the bags, that's more exercise. So that's what I want you to think about. Situations like that where we can actually get a little bit more exercise in our daily lives. And another thing is that when we're talking about this today, is sometimes it's okay that you don't do it every time. I know for me personally, the other day it was raining, so I did grab all those bags and come into the house with them. But then I did think to myself, you know what? I probably could do something different because doing something is always better than nothing. So what we're going to also do today was set some goals, talk about setting goals, breaking down our negative thoughts about what exercise is, and weaving in exercise into our daily life. But also making it something that's not challenging, because oftentimes people feel like if I can't do it 100%, then I shouldn't do it at all. Okay. So the first one you all should see is where it says setting goals. Set goals and benefits of them. Everybody see that? Those of you who have it. For those of you who don't, you're okay. Okay, so the first thing is, let's talk about setting goals. One of the best things that I like to make sure that people know about setting goals is that a goal means that when you reach it, that's 100%. But remember what I'm saying is when you reach it, it's 100%. So that doesn't mean that when you start out, you always will reach it at 100%. So what I want you to do is, when you leave here today, I want you to set a goal. And then what I want you to do is figure out how you can get that goal every day. It might be that you use a fitness device. So like for instance here, how many of you all have smartphones? Everybody have smartphones? Okay. Most everybody in here who has a smartphone, as long as you do not have an iPhone 5, iPhone 5s are the only ones that don't have it. As long as you have any other phone, you have now something called an activity tracker on it. Your phones are automatically set up with activity trackers. As long as you have that activity tracker on you, it automatically knows how many steps you take every day. So what I would like for you all to do when you leave today, maybe start tomorrow, and you don't have to start your goal just yet. Tomorrow, make sure your activity tracker is on. If you don't know how to do it, contact me. Put your activity tracker on. Walk like you normally do all throughout the day. At the end of the day, see how many steps you got. Then what I want you to do is take whatever number that is and multiply it by 10%. And see if you could get that the next day. So maybe that next whole week, you do 10% more than what you started. And the week later, 10% more of that. And then eventually you're going to see a pattern. So where you started, now you have a goal in mind to increase your activity. Also, not only just you have activity tracker, there's a lot of great apps like there's MyFitnessPal, which they will actually connect to your phone and to any fitness devices. Anybody have a Fitbit? Anybody get a Fitbit for their birthday or the holidays but haven't set them up yet? Some people, you did? Oh, you did? Okay. Okay, well, you know what? Here's the thing. If you haven't set one up yet and you want me to help you, just let me know. But this connects to your phone, your fitness apps, your devices. The great thing about this is it tracks your daily activity, not just your steps, but how much you exert energy. It also will track your sleep patterns. And that's something also I want to make sure about people setting goals, is that you make sure that you get enough sleep. Because exercise is equal to sleep as well. They also actually said that if you have to choose between losing 30 minutes of sleep or doing 30 minutes in the gym, get 30 minutes of sleep. And that doesn't mean that you get, like sleep 12 hours now. They're saying, you should get 6 to 8 hours. And if you have to choose between getting only 4 hours of sleep or 4.5 hours of sleep, get that 4.5 hours of sleep rather than going to 30 minutes in the gym. Okay, so this is really, really good. And if you have one, that breaks, always buy a new one. But no, these are really, really good. And it also tells you when to sleep and things like that. So that's the best way I can say for everyone to set goals. And the benefits of this. So we're still on that. For the benefits, always remember that a body in motion stays in motion. How many of you all rode a bike? Everybody in here has at least rode a bike before? Yeah. Rode a bike? Okay, so have you ever really, really pedaled really, really fast and then all of a sudden you just coasted?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what your body actually does every day. When you're getting physical activity, that's you actually chugging along. And then when you sit down, you're coasting. So you have to think about how much exercise are you getting so that your body is able to coast. The difference is substantial. If you ever look at somebody who is 90 years old, you have people who are 90 who are fit versus 90-year-olds who are not fit. And the difference is just chugging along, doing something. So that way when you're coasting, you're able to coast further. So that's what I want you to think about. That's your benefit. So even if you do something, it's always going to be better than doing nothing. The worst mistakes that people make, so that's what we're talking about the negative thoughts around it. The worst mistakes people make is they think that one, they have to do exercise at a gym. A lot of people won't even start exercising because they say, you know what, I'm going to start the gym tomorrow. I don't have a gym membership, so I can't really get into my exercise routine. That's not true. Exercise can happen anywhere. Sometimes people say, well, you know what, I don't have any clothes. I don't have any clothes to wear to the gym. Guess what? You can wear your regular clothes as long as you're doing something. Some people say, well, you know what, I don't look my best. I don't want people to see me doing something if I don't look great doing it. Well, that's okay because that's why you're doing it. Because you're doing something. And some people even say, well, what if I'm doing it and somebody makes fun of me doing it? What if I'm doing it and what if I'm doing some exercise even at home and then somebody sees me? But guess what? You're at least doing something. So just think about those negative thoughts that you have about exercise and what it means, and then just cast those out. And it's not always about being the most fit. It's not always about having the most muscles. It's not always about having the flattest stomach. It's that you're doing the best thing you can for your body, for yourself. Okay, so how do we weave it in? How can we weave in some just normal exercise into our lives? So what I did was, Mr. Bradford was kind enough to lend me some everyday household items that he had laying around. And I wanted to incorporate that in today's presentation. So I did not have these before I came. But I said, you know what, let me look around the house what he has to see what we can use. So we have a broom, and we're not going to use the dustpan. We can, and I'll show you what we can do with it later, but we'll use the broom. We have some detergent for carpet cleaning. We have 2 cans of Manwich Bold. So we're learning a lot about Mr. Bradford. We have a towel, and we have a chair. So first thing is, let me talk to you about this chair here. because a lot of times people are sitting. And sometimes, you know what, you may not be physically able to walk a lot yet, so you have to be sitting. So you're like, how can I get exercise but not have to walk all the time? And guess what? Your activity trackers will still count this. So what you do is sit in a chair, and you can easily do this. Sit in a chair, try to just kick your leg out if you can. Kick your leg out if you can. That's simple enough, right? Another thing you can do is, we'll do the broom. With the broom, okay? The broom, you can do this standing up or sitting down, but you can actually do a lot of things. You can do your chest presses. And here's the thing is, a lot of times people think this does not have a lot of weight on it. But guess what? You're doing something, right? You're doing something. Anybody know Tom Brady, the quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady is the oldest quarterback in NFL history. And he has the least amount of injuries. The reason why he has the least amount of injuries is because when he works out, he does not work with the most weights. He works out trying to build up elasticity. Elasticity is from doing repetitive motions and getting that strength to build up from it. So that's what we should think about too. So you see, you know what, and just like I was talking to you all, I think I did about 20 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, another one we can do with this, just put it over your head. It's something easy to do, right? Push it out, push it in, over your head. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're doing it. And I tell you what, one of the best things to do is if you do want to watch TV, on commercial breaks, pick up the broom, do it the whole commercial break. Gives you something to do. You get some exercise. All of a sudden, next thing you know, you had 5 minutes of exercise and didn't even realize it. Another thing that you can do, these cans, okay? So, these cans, 15 ounces, right? Yes. Daphne, our audience member, said that. 15 ounces. Each one of these is actually almost a pound. So, I mean, you could just sit there and do this just so you can get some exercise. And you can do it in so many different ways. Put your arms out. You can lift them up over your head to try to get that dexterity. Put them to your body. And you're getting exercise, and next thing you know, you're doing something. You're doing something. And again, and like I said before, nobody even has to know, hey, guess what? We're working out. We're working out. Okay. Also, another thing, and we'll do the towel last. Like this. Bending over, you can do your sides. Now, I got something big because you want to do your sides. So you want to make sure you're doing something that, you know, that is actually giving you a little pull on it so that you reach down. But that's actually going to work your obliques here. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I can start feeling that. So that's easy enough to do. I hope you all think so.
I guess maybe I should start doing this.
Okay, so what's the towel for, right? Okay, so I'm going to kick off my shoes, and you can do this with your shoes on. But I'm going to kick off my shoes. What I did was I wrapped this towel up, okay? Now you can do this sitting and you can do it standing, it just depends. Now remember, like, if you're in a seating one because you're afraid that you're going to fall or something like that, then that's okay, because remember, you're still doing something. If you have to be seated, that's okay. If you can do it standing, that's fine too. I will show you all sitting just so you all get the benefit from it. You can go ahead and put your foot in here and reach up and just stretch your foot out. Reach back, stretch your foot out. Reach out, stretch your foot out. And what that does is it gives you some resistance. You can also, I did it on this chair, put this over here and just pull forward. Pull forward. And at first you don't think you're doing anything, but this is giving you some resistance. This is actually kind of like what you do if you're skiing. So you're doing that, but you're pulling that resistance, and you're actually building yourself. Just something as simple as that. And there's a lot of exercises. You can always go on YouTube, find more towel exercises. One last trick I also will tell you, and I don't have it, is a lot of times if you're used to sitting down, every now and then, sit on the floor. Now, sometimes when people say sit on the floor, it scares them because you got to get off the floor. But let me tell you this. If you watch a TV show for 30 minutes a day sitting on the floor, you actually will build your core. And the reason why is because you have nothing supporting you. So what you do is, the whole entire time you might be feeling like you're squirming, you're actually building your core that whole time. Sometimes when I'm at home, I sit on the porch and someone will say, well, there's a chair right there. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm sitting right here because I'm trying to build up my back and my core. So those are some ways that we could intertwine exercise into our daily life. And that's not, don't take too much time. Doesn't require too much clothing. Doesn't require to buy anything new. Okay. So, in conclusion, remember, set your goals. It doesn't have to be anything astronomical. Remember, a goal is trying to reach it. Then if you reach it, go further. But set a goal. Next, cast out your negative ideas about what exercise should be or can be. And third, see how you can incorporate exercise into your daily life. And see if you can find some ideas that you didn't think of before on some things that you have around your house that you could actually incorporate into exercise. And last but not least, was remember, doing something is always better than doing nothing. Thank you all for being here.
Yay!